Hello to each and every one of you who have tuned in today to listen to this short inspirational message that is being brought to you by the Christian Development Team of Central United Church. We recognize that we are in the midst now of those lazy, hazy, crazy days of summer that Nat King Cole sang about so very many years ago. We recognize that you'll be beside swimming pools or beside lakes or hiking up mountains, or perhaps we might be blessed this summer to be in touch with family that we haven't seen in quite some time. So I'm delighted to be able to introduce to you what we're calling Powering Up for Summer, a series of short messages and inspirational thoughts that might uplift your spirits in this summer season. We have a wide array of folks who are going to do this. We'll do this once a week on Mondays. You can tune in at 10 o'clock on Monday mornings to our Facebook page, and there you'll find us. And today, I would like to start by offering you a reading from the book of Jeremiah. It's from the Old Testament, or the Hebrew Scriptures. And Jeremiah was a prophet, an ancient prophet, who was with his people during their time of exile. Their home country had almost been razed to the ground, and they were taken out of the country and are now living in exile. And they are lamenting the loss of what they knew back home and wondering if they would ever get back home. So Jeremiah comes to them often and offers them words of hope, words of courage, words of determination that they might continue to bloom where they are planted, and that one day they would be restored and they would be able to go home. Listen to what Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 3 says. The Lord appeared to us in the past, saying this, I have loved you with an everlasting love, and I have drawn you with loving kindness. So in the midst of all that's going on for Jeremiah's people, he reminds them, and he reminds them quite often, of the loving kindness of God and the everlasting love of God for them. I think we need to hear those words today. These words were written centuries ago. But in our world today, there are things that distress and disturb us and bring us to places of lament. And yet, as Jeremiah reminds us, I have loved you with an everlasting love, and I will be with you in the deepest parts of your lament and in the deepest parts of your pain and grief. The other part of the verse that's really important, I think, to as we're reading it, I have drawn you, God says, with loving kindness. That says to me that God has created us to be loving people, that our first and basic instinct is to love one another because God created us that way. I'd like to offer a saying to you from a chap named Thomas Merton. He was a Trappist monk who lived in the 20th century. He was a theologian, a mystic, a poet, a scholar, a social activist, and he worked very hard in interfaith dialogue so that all faith communities in the world could come together and speak lovingly to one another. And this is a quote from one of his over 50 books. He wrote 50 books and many other papers and dialogues. And this is one of the things that he said. Our job is to love others without stopping to inquire whether or not they are worthy. And I would offer that that is our job, that it is our job to love others without stopping to inquire whether or not they are worthy. All of us are created by God, and all of us, in God's eyes, are worthy. So as you trip lightly through these days of summer and enjoy the summer sun warming your shoulders, may you remember these words of Thomas Merton, and may you find ways to live love. Because when we do that, the world is transformed. Have a good time transforming the world. Happy summer.